Good morning, YouTube. Flash Speaks back for another video, man. We wrap to y'all real quick, man. So Paige Bueckers, the standout from UConn champion, was on an interview. Her and Enrique Gumbawale asked a series of questions. You know how it is. One of the questions was asked by a black reporter, sound like a black woman, and offered the question to Paige Bueckers, really about a statement that Paige made, or a couple statements Paige made some years back, I think when she won an ESPY award or something like that. And she kind of praised, a lot of black women, and mentioned that black women are not covered as much as others, as someone in the media. And what got me talking about this and deciding, just go ahead and talk about it was, I saw some people talking about Paige on another video, and I saw some of the comment section, and it was mentioned, there was a lot of talk about how what Paige said, they found it cringeworthy, just made them cringe on the inside. And I really wonder, why would what she say make you cringe? I just, right? But at any rate, during the interview, Paige was asked about it, and this was her response, and this is what it said here. And this is what's very important, man, to understand, that people are the result of how they're raised, And Paige said here, and I quote, she said, "Yeah, I've had a beautiful upbringing, a lot of people, a mixed family, but I've had a lot of influential black women in my life, influential black teammates, and you see it every day, the imbalances of coverage, inequalities that exist in the world. And I feel like since I have a large platform, and to be able to use that platform to share that light amongst others is extremely important to me." And this was her answer. See, I think people have to remember, and Paige Bueckers is from a unique situation. She grew up, I believe she's 100%, or at least, from what we understand, apparently she's white, has white father, white mother. But then the mother goes on and marries, a black man. So she had the opportunity to live with a black man and see him up close and personal. So that person is going to have more of an impression on her than anything else. Any, movie that you watch about a black man, or some bullshit that's spread in the media, or some, experience you had with a guy on the street or something like that, right? So she's in a unique situation, and that offers her a unique spot to be able to speak. And I think really all of us can learn something from someone like that. I haven't had that experience, though I've, of course, met, of course, many white people. Some I like very much. Some of my best teachers in grade school were white people. And what she mentioned had me thinking back on that, wow, that's really deep that she would be able to do that. But the question I have is for people who feel like what she said was cringeworthy. Why would that make you cringe? You got to think about who Paige Bueckers is. Paige Bueckers is a girl who grew up, as she explained, but then also you got to look at, she grew up with AAU. There's black people all throughout AAU. Her favorite team, Minnesota Lynx, and her most formative years of watching basketball was during that dynastic run of the Lynx. So she grew up idolizing Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, same as Caitlin Clark. And idolized that team. That was their favorite team. That's probably a big part of why, they were able to even bond with each other. Talking about that team. How it is. They're both Lynx fans. It's unlikely that people who have these types of experiences have the same hangups and racial biases that others don't. Most people that are extremely racially biased were isolated, usually, or they don't know a lot of people personally. Now, if they do know people personally and they still hold on to those biases, those are real racist people. Really racist, meaning they have beliefs that they believe in things like eugenics, or that there's a real hierarchy amongst races and stuff like that. You know, but most people, if they met others and they had access to people of other races and they had friends of those races, they will usually not be racist, you know. And to me, when I see Paige Bueckers and the way she answered the question, and to me, that's a pure soul. You know, that's a pure soul that really, I hope, don't get corrupted by a lot of these, you know, assholes, for lack of a better word, in the world. You know, who want to push their agendas and push their stereotypes and all of that kind of stuff. I can't get over that. What do you mean that made you cringe? Because she gave respect to black women who did make up the majority of the league? Like, what? And who helped her personally in her life? That's crazy. Well, maybe she was supposed to not mention that they're black. Let's do that. You know, that's really crazy, man. And it would help a lot of us, man, to be more humble in that respect. You know, be more humble in that respect, man. So I'm definitely rooting for the young lady, man. She has all the game in the world. I hope the situation works out with her and Enrique as well. I get the argument that it might not. I get the argument people think it can't. You know, but I hope it does, because that would be best for that franchise, and that would be some hella exciting basketball. You know, those two players. Those are two players that I love to watch. Two highly skilled players, and you'll see, for those of y'all who haven't watched a lot of Paige or Downer, y'all gonna see. This is one player I can project will be great. The IQ, the 3-level scoring, the defense, the fact that she was able to play power forward and point guard. For me, that versatility separates her from you know who, for me. But she got to prove it. I get that. I'm not going to speak too much on that right now. But I think she will, man. I think she will. And the world can learn a lot from someone like her, man. You know, a lot of us, we think we know everything, man. And no. The world can learn something from her, man. So, let me go ahead, man. Get with y'all later. Peace, love, and grease.